Introduction: Substance use disorders is also known as a treatable mental disorder that affects the people's brain behavior due to the uncontrol of illegal substance such as cannabis, or we also know in our society that's marijuana, alcohol, cover, and medications which has prescriptions for another person. Eventually, this substance can cause harmful consequences to people which they feel relapsed or diagnosed. CED or substance use disorders can also known as drug addictions that easily affects people's brain and behavior. People who are over-addicted into drugs, their mind structure are changed and destroyed, or either the persons can develop a mental disorder. Drug addiction is a relapsing disease that caused by the use of excessive amount of drugs that exploited by persons as individuals. Drug addiction can eventually start once the person uses drug all of their life. For instance, the risk of drug addiction can cost how fast to become, and there is a risk when a person can be more addicted from others. However, the conditions of drug addiction can affect the person's brain and behavior. Sometimes people cannot often recall their memory when they forgot anything or keep staring on a long period. Drugs can block the person's or people's thoughts, which is a major concern in the society. Here are some symptoms of addiction or drug addiction. A person may feel to use drugs every day. Sometimes it might be several times a day. Drug may intend to block more thoughts on a person's life. A person who are addicted into drugs sometimes can't meet the obligations every day, feeling lonely and can't even socialize with other people, getting angry at all times, too much eat. Sometimes they fail to differentiate between the right and the wrong. Unhygienic or wearing dirty clothes at all times, spend more times on unusual things, physical health, lack of motivation, loss of body weight, and etc. Change in behavior. Sometimes teenagers often live in a secretive and following their peers and friends assume that they are use drugs and sharing with each other. Family problem. This is a disruptions of important relationships in the family. When the parents can, sometimes they chase their sons and daughters if they are in drugs addictions, if they are diagnosed with drugs addictions. Here are some of the risk factors. We have genes here, gender. Males often involved in drug situation, alcohol and cover, and there is a gender gap when females are not much involved in such kind of activities. Sometimes girls use high dose of alcohol and involved in drugs activities. We know that's happening here right now in Fiji, that some of the females are more exploited of drugs than males. Psychological factor, the personality factor. Sometimes when people use a substance that lead to addictions, particularly it may increase the risk of relapse. The trauma and abuse, it may cook the person's ability through the effects of addictions, feeling stresses at all time, and destroy the brain's pathway. The mental health factors, there are many conditions such as depression, stresses and anxiety, and PTSD. These are the abbreviations, the post-traumatic stress disorders, that can contribute to the high risk of addictions. However, when they fail to manage the emotions, they might involve on substance use. Environmental factors, family factors. There are many aspects of family which contribute to the risk of addictions. When a member of a family is addicted into drugs, due to the lack of supervision and support. The next step can be happening there. This is a major problem nowadays. It's a divorce. It can be a high risk in the family. Peer group, sometimes going with peers can be a major contribution on drugs addictions. Adolescence period when teenagers spend more time by going with friends or during special occasions which they involve in the use of substance. Behavioral addiction is the second case studies. Behavioral addiction is a process of addiction that affects the person's brain and behavior simultaneously. For instance, behavior addiction can engage in many non-substance related behavior physically, socially, and mentally, according to Paglan 2022. It can distract a person's ability, examples, academics, employment, and etc. Many people engage in many activities such as playing sports, shopping, and movies, which they can addicted from those activities. There are warning signs of behavioral addictions: having difficulty in life to change the behavior and attitude, isolation, sometimes you feel isolation, or avoiding to work, you are not interested on the work that you should be done on a particular day, always hiding the truth, and this is the major concern. Can be for behavioral addiction is laziness. Some people have a habit of lazy because they are addicted. Types of behavioral addictions: binge eating or food addictions. This happens when a person has addicted on foods which are available of sugar, salt, and fats. Sometimes the taste of food are external rewards, same as drugs, which people like most of the times. Second one is internet addictions, cause the person to change his or her mood, spending more time scrolling in order to achieve the level of the mood, and affect the academics of a person and disturb course at home. We have here number 3, that point which is porn addictions is a major concern. However, this can be defined when person spend more time or continuing to watch porn as part of their life. Watching porn in school or at working place, sometimes they always keep in secret from their mates. Most of the time they spend on phone. Social media addiction. Social media was created to keep us involved in different scenarios such as Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Message, and Instagram, and etc. Social media is a programmable which can develop addiction on people. Sometimes it makes people feeling lonely and keep them out from other obligations such as birthday party, wedding, church services, and etc. People can miss out on many things due to the time they have been wasted on social media. Many people had involved in scammers. This is a major problem that's happening over the last 2 months. When people abuse of social media, they tend to involve in the problem of scammers. Can have a conclusion here. Substance use disorder can be a great addition into our regular talk by including many actions to overcome the challenge and conflicts on people who are diagnosed on illegal substance. For instance, people who experience substance use disorder should seek help from a counselor who is fully qualified to conduct therapeutic sessions to address the issues of CED such as drug addiction, etc. We have behavioral addictions. There are several types of behavioral addictions such as food addictions, gambling addiction, internet addiction, porn addiction, and social media addiction. People who are influenced in this type of addiction can be in a series of confusions on their behavior and lots of misunderstanding if they are not controlled in their everyday life. We have a reference here. So we come to the end of my presentation. Thank you.